Good.
That tends to cool things down. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anything that either of you are feeling particularly that you would be helpful to focus on in your bodies? How's your knee feeling, Marianthi?
It's getting better. Every day it's getting better. I still cannot bend it all the way. So like twisted monkey cannot, well, I can do, but not bring it. But otherwise I can do anything else. So
okay, good,
it's
good.
Yeah.
So it's just that the deep flexion of the knee joint is
yes.
Cool.
What's the difference between flexion and bending?
Nothing really. I think flexion is just kind of the anatomical term. Oh, did my computer just die? Hello?
No, I can see.
I can see you. I can hear you.
I got a black screen all of a sudden. Okay, here we go. So yeah, anytime, it's more or less the same, like if I bent at the waist, but you could also, like a back bend is extension. So to be more specific, they use flexion. Like flexing tends to be when you come closer to the body. For example, flexing my knee, flexing at my hip brings my leg closer. Flexing at my knee brings my heel closer. And then extension is when you move further away, when you move something further away from the body, more or less. That's how I understand it. Yeah. What about you, Haesung? Anything, any particular requests or anything?
I don't know, just the leg and the feet stretching.
The what? The feet?
And ankle.
Oh, like, yeah, totally. Great.
Stretching, like they are little, like, yeah.
Love that. All right, well, if you want a playlist, I'll put one in the chat. I know we haven't used them in a while. I've got a whole bunch of them here.
If Marianthi needed, I usually don't.
You don't, and I don't think she does either.
I only have my computer.
Okay, cool. All right, well, let's come to our seats then.
Okay.
Let's spend a couple of, just a moment in our seats together. I might scoot that back just a little bit, or maybe I can come back. I was spending some time in my seat earlier today, and just one of the things that I was doing was just noticing like where I lose integrity in my posture as I sit here. So start to bring your spine into some alignment. Root the sitting bones into the block or the support that you have underneath you. And from the rooting downward, let there be a kind of an upward action spiraling through the spine. So the energy starts to be reaching up and at the crown of the head. You may shift your attention to your breath. Just check in, like where needs integrity? Where deserves a little bit of attention? Is it a broadening across the shoulders? Do you need to actually engage through your rhomboids a little bit to pull your scapula a little closer to your spine in the event that the shoulders were kind of rounded forward like so? And bring that in here. Is it attention to the low back? Feeling the low back in extension so that there's a curvature there. In the yin classes, we really spend some time in that Sphinx pose where we give attention to the lumbar spine, extension there. And it really shows up for me as I come to my seat. I have a relationship with that part of my body because I've spent, 3 to 5 minutes holding an extension there. So feel the support of the low back. Do the sides of the neck need to slide slightly back in space so that the throat is stacked over the pelvis? And once you've created the container, invitation to just breathe into it. Let the breath fill the shape you've created. And then watch the breath empty from the shape as well. And if there's any part that you maybe have neglected to send the breath to, maybe it's the toenails, maybe it's the fingernails, your ears, your knees, wherever. Take a moment to send some breath there now. Just for a moment, holding this kind of bizarre idea that the breath is as essential in those parts as it is in any other part, for example, the lungs. And when you're ready, invitation to take a prayer at your heart center. There's a gentle pressing together of the two hands and a lifting of the heart towards the thumbs. Beautiful. Let's come to a child's pose, please. And in your child's pose, you can actually start with your toes tucked under. So if you want, you come to hands and knees and then send the hips back towards the heels. You can stay slightly forward if you need. And otherwise, sit your hips back onto your heels with the toes tucked under. And then look at your feet if possible. See your big toes. Shift the weight forward again so that you can splay your toes. And then as you set the toes back down, try to keep them spread. And we'll stay like this. So this is a really great way to kind of open up through the intrinsic muscles of the feet, bringing our toes into reflection. If we were to curl our toes the other way, we'd be extending through each of the toes. And yeah, you can start to settle down a little more in the upper body if you want to relax your forehead onto the earth. And then again, like maybe just lift up all toes of the right foot except for the big toe and try to move them away from the big toe and then set them back down. And then do the same on the left. It's like you're trying to articulate a little more through your toes. See what sort of sensation that creates for you in the soles of your feet. And then when you're ready, come forward a little bit. Flip your toes back now so the tops of your feet fully are touching the earth and settle down into a child's pose once again. If this needs to be puppy dog pose, that's totally fine. Take some variation where you can, we're trying to focus on the feet. So like even if you're sitting in a different shape, you can still explore the same idea of kind of pointing and flexing through the toes. An invitation here to start to pull your inner thighs towards one another and press your shins down into the earth so that your butt starts to lift up a little bit. So you're really engaging through your inner thighs here. sound of ujjayi is there to support you. And it's not only just a sound, but a whole sensation, the sound of sensation. It's a really interesting thing about the breath practice is that it's not just something that we're hearing, but it's something that we're feeling. Relax in the legs if you haven't already, and let's go ahead and take a swim. Drag your right arm back as you shift your shoulders forward and out over the wrist. Exhale, set it down. Go into the left. Exhale, set down. Twice more, right, left. Next inhale, come forward and out, cow spine, belly low, heart high, tail high. There's your anterior tilt, and you can tuck your toes under. Stay here for just a breath or two. Push the backs of your legs apart. And when you do that, feel that your outer hips turn on. The outer hips should sort of support this anterior tilt of the pelvis. So that means the tail is reaching towards the sky, belly is dipped, heart is lifted. If you want extra, you can ground into the inner hands and spin your biceps. Exhale, round it out, cow spine. Flip the feet, the tops of your feet press into the earth now. And stay for a couple of breaths. So shifting up that rhythm of one breath per movement, and instead take multiple breaths per movement. Instead of pressing the backs of the legs apart now, could you start to squeeze your two knees together and squeeze your hands, arm bones towards one another? If anybody wants, you can press into the tops of the feet until the feet lift up. I don't know why, but I'm even feel the call to go all the way up. That's a big stretch for the feet, so be careful if you want it. Hey, Sung, you can try something like that. Definitely stretches through the tops of the foot. Be careful, do the thing that you are sensing in your body that feels right. Start to move into some more cat-cows. And on the cat-cow, I really want to encourage you to try to feel the outward press of the legs and the inward hugging of the legs. So outward on cow spine, inward hugging on cat spine. Now that you're familiar with cat-cow, you can start to do more than one thing at a time. And then the next time the hips are lifted and you're in your cow spine, keep your toes tucked, press the backs of your legs apart from one another, and maybe even float your legs up off the ground. Push the backs of your legs apart until your inner thighs turn on, and you watch my hips lead up. So I keep that anterior tilt the whole time as I shift into my downward facing dog. Shoulders slide towards ears. And you can imagine the bottom wingtip of your scapula sort of wrapping not only up towards your wrists, but also around either side of your body. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Take a number of breaths here. Maybe bicycling out the legs. Sound and sensation of ujjayi. Keep the fire a fire. They keep it, they fuel the fire in a way. Stoke the flames of the fire. Try to move the knees a little further away from the face. Don't jam your legs so that you're in hyperextension. And one way that you can protect from that is by pushing the backs of your legs apart. So it's not only that you're pushing the backs of your knees away from your face, but you're also spiraling the inner thighs away from the face and trying to wrap the outer thighs towards the face. Press into the left foot and lift your right leg to the sky. Don't open it up yet, so just try to keep it parallel. Flex strongly through the ankle, and then do the opposite. Point strongly through the ankle. Go ahead and flex, and point. So we also call this dorsiflexion when you flex, and then plantar flexion when you point. So now keep the foot pointed, plantar flexion, but only pull the toes back towards your face. Then try to spread your toes. You're looking back, so you can probably see your toes. Try to spread them so you see a little bit of space between each toe. And then when you're ready, bend it, open up, flex that foot again, draw the heel towards the glute and stretch through your quadricep. Circle the ankle 3 times one way. No, let's go 5 times. 3 is just not enough. And then go 5 times the other way. Inhale, square it off. And exhale, shift forward as you push the earth away. Try to touch your knee towards your chest. It's probably not going to touch, but like, try. Maybe you're up on the tiptoes of your back foot. Inhale, lift the leg high. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll the body forward in that plank pose. Exhale, keep pushing the earth away as you touch your knees down. Inhale, lengthen the heart up. Exhale, Ashtanga Namaskara, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, hands lift. Pull the rhomboids towards the spine. Engage the rhomboids to pull the scapula towards the spine. Inhale, float your feet. Exhale, lower everything. Inhale, press up, hands and knees. And child's pose. Swimming, left arm back. Exhale, set it down. Right arm pulls back, inhale. Experiment with letting the breath initiate the movement. So it's the first thing that happens. Twice more. Inhale, come forward, cow spine. So I love to build cow spine into downward facing dog like so. You could just watch if you want. And then if you joined me, come forward, put your knees back down. I love to build cat spine into plank. So cat spine, we're round. We've done this before, but this is a little reminder, refresher. Everything in cat spine, including the head, including the tail, including the muscles of the back. It's a muscle group called it's a muscle called your serratus anterior that is pushing and helping to draw your scapula around either side of your body to meet around your chest. I'm going to invite us to extend our left leg straight back and tighten the screw. So roll the inner thigh to the sky, spin the outer hip down. Keep cat spine in your head, arms, and chest. And then slide your right leg back. You're still in cat spine on the head. Everything stays the same, but you just now lengthen the sides of the neck so that they're more or less parallel to the earth. Push the earth away from you. Lengthen the tailbone towards the heels. Try to hug your leg bones towards one another, hug your arm bones towards one another. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Press into the ball of your right foot, lift your left leg high to the sky. So turn the outer hip down, that's the tightening of the screw action. You're pulling the toes closer towards your face. And the more that you press into that left foot, the more you might be able to lift, the right foot, the more you may be able to lift the left leg. Flex through the left foot and point. And flex. Slide the shoulders to the ears and point. Flex and point. Now keep the point, only pull the toes back towards the face. And look at your toes, spread them. I've got sky up above me, so I can see little pieces of the sky between each of my toes. And maybe you can see beautiful pieces of your ceiling or whatever it is that's above you. It doesn't matter, it's beautiful. Look at it between your toes and appreciate it, and then peel it open when you're ready, bend it, flex through the ankle, draw the heel towards the glute, circle 5 times one way. 5 times the other way. Inhale, length. Exhale, shift forward, knee to chest. Push the earth away. And see, if you look at my back foot, I'm like basically balancing on my back big toe. Maybe the Second two toes are helping a little bit too. Push the earth away. Lengthen plank. Downward dog. Inhale, roll out, shoulders over wrists. Nothing changes in the upper body, knees down. Inhale, lengthen, lift heart. Exhale, Ashtanga Namaskara. Inhale, come forward and through, baby cobra. Exhale, lift the hands. Inhale, lift the feet. The backs of your knees and the inner thighs are spinning towards the sky. Exhale, lower to the earth. Inhale, press up hands and knees or plank pose. And hips up and back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Starting to walk the feet forward towards the face. Flex the foot each time you do that though. Interesting experiment. You may feel a little more engagement in the hamstrings. Get your feet more or less hips width distance and start to pour the upper body forward over your legs. It may feel like you're, hey, Mac, what's up? Hi. Tired puppy. Come here. Rock forward and back. Little Mac, hi. I think Mac misses the city. Good. Next time you're as centered as you could possibly be. You may even want blocks for this for under your hands. Come under your fingertips. Push the backs of your legs apart and inhale, take a half lift. In your half lift, try to lift your sitting bones away from your heels so you draw it more to that anterior tilt of the pelvis. Like for me, I have pretty tight hamstrings, not as tight as they used to be, and I've got places to go, but it's good for me to be on the highest height of the blocks. And for some people, like, so notice the difference between this and this. So I'm really trying to lengthen these sitting bones up towards the sky. This does not feel like the polite angle, but you could even go here, you know what I mean? And find that same idea of lifting the sitting bones up towards the sky. Or you can put your hands on a chair. Let the anterior tilt of the pelvis be facilitated by a pressing apart of the backs of your legs. And then keep that anterior tilt as you forward fold again over your legs as much as possible. If you need to bend your legs, go ahead and bend your legs. Let's take about 5 more breaths here. Sound much. Once again, press backs of legs apart and lead with the heart, chin, and nose to stand up. Lift all the way up. Exhale, pull a prayer to your heart. Beautiful. Inhale, lift prayer to heart. Lift thumbs to heart. Oh my God, heart to thumbs. Sorry. Exhale, lower down, Tadasana. Hook your thumbs, stretch your arms high. Exhale, swan dive over the legs. Step your right foot back, touch the back knee down. Hook thumbs and stretch arms, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale, rolls the body forward and out, and move through your vinyasa of choice, maybe lowering down knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga until you're ready to meet all the way back in the downward facing dog. From there, right leg lifts to the sky. Exhale, step through. Back knee down, thumbs hook, arms stretch, lift up. Exhale, hands from the front foot. Look forward, tuck that back toe, lift the knee and step forward. Step into a forward fold. I'm sorry, I meant to say half lift. We'll get that next time. Now come to your half lift. Again, any variation, use your blocks to come to the height that's going to work for you, and then use this as an opportunity to strengthen through your outer hips by pressing the backs of your legs apart. And then when you're ready, keep the sitting bones lifting towards the sky, but start to fold forward in the upper body. Uttanasana, forward fold. Maybe there's a different variation of the legs. Thumbs may hook. Elbows pull out to either side to draw the chest a little closer to the thighs. Even if the legs need to be bent, that's okay. When you're ready, backs of legs press apart. Lead with the heart, chin and chest. Stand all the way up. Exhale, prayer to heart center. Inhale, heart lifts the thumbs. Exhale, Tadasana. Second side, thumbs hook, arms stretch. Pull the thumbs apart to get length in the spine, and exhale, swan dive out and over your legs. Left foot steps back this time, back knee down. Hook the thumbs, stretch the arms high. Exhale, hands frame the front foot, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward and out, plank pose. Exhale, lower your way and move through the vinyasa. We'll all meet back in downward dog when you are ready. Coming back, left leg lifts. And exhale, step through. Back knee down. Unless your dog is under you, hook the thumbs and stretch the arms. Exhale, hands from the front foot. Step into a half lift this time. So my blocks are right there so I can come right to it. Set yourself up for success that way. Deep breath in. Exhale, fold. Keep the sitting bones lifted. My little neck. Through the half lift all the way to standing, please. Exhale, hands pull the heart. Inhale, heart to thumbs. Exhale, Tadasana. Nice. Utkatasana, hips low, arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale as a half lift. Exhale, fold, step back. One foot, then this next. Lower down all the way. Inhale, back bend of your choice. Exhale, hips up and back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Try to lift with the inner thigh. And then exhale, peel it open. Let the inner thigh present towards the sky. Inhale, find the length. Slide the shoulders to the ears. And exhale, step forward and through. High crescent lunge. Press into the outer right heel to lift the arms high. Bend your back leg, tighten the screw. It's going to draw your left hip forward, right hip back, and then re-lengthen out through that leg, trying to keep the tailbone as down towards the ground as possible. Pull your 2 feet towards one another here, pressing from the right sitting bone down into the outer right heel. Deep breath in. Exhale, hands from the front foot. Similar to how we did before when we were in the plank, use the inhale to lengthen out the sides of your neck, and then use the exhale to turn the heart to the right towards the sky. Deep breath in. Stay on the exhale. Can you feel how your right hip is kind of, especially the sitting bone, trying to wag a little more towards the midline of the body? And then your left inner thigh is spinning a little more towards the sky. Again, the back of the knee wants to move towards the sky, but there's also a spiraling action of the outer hip rolling down, inner thigh rolling up. We're talking left leg there. Deep breath in. Exhale, vinyasa. Hands comes down, step back. Maybe chaturanga dandasana. And continue to move. Let's get the left leg high when you're ready. Exhale, peel it open. And inhale in. Exhale, shift forward. Inhale, high crescent lunge. Soften the back knee. And tighten the screw. So it's a squaring action of the hips. And then you re-lengthen out. Beautiful. From the left sitting bone, press into your outer left heel. And in a similar way to as we were doing in our seated posture earlier, just scan your body and check, like, where am I out of integrity? Where needs attention? Exhale, hands from the front foot. Inhale, lengthen sides of neck only. Exhale, turn heart left to the sky. Couple of breaths here. Maybe on this side, you want to be a little more diligent about the left wrist being stacked over the right wrist. So you avoid the thing where you kind of release way back like that. You could even think of pressing into someone's palm with your left hand to turn the right ribs under a little more. Deep breath in. It's like I'm giving you a high five. And exhale, set it down, set back, vinyasa. Five breaths, downward facing dog, please. Press the backs of your legs apart. We're trying to make a capital letter V upside down with downward facing dog. So there's a symmetry in a way between the arms and the legs. And it's interesting because like the one half of it is upper body and arms. Second half of it is only the legs. And the apex is your sitting bones. Pressing backs of legs apart and trying to lift your sitting bones into that anterior tilt. High under the balls of the feet when you're ready. And exhale, bend your legs, step or float forward. Folding over the legs. Inhale's a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Utkatasana, hips low, arms high, chair pose. And stand all the way up. Pull the heart to the thumbs. Lift. Once again, heart to thumbs. And exhale, lower hands. Tadasana. Beautiful. Sit low, arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, take a half lift. Exhale, vinyasa, your way. We'll all meet back in a downward facing dog when you are ready. Right leg is high. Exhale, open it up. Inhale, lengthen out. And exhale, step through. Stay here. Fingertips. Lift all the toes of your right foot, spread them, and try to put your right big toe down, and then spread all the toes out to the right. Fan them out to the right as you set them down. Space between each one as much as possible. You take your finger and just move your finger through the space between each of the toes. Nice. Deep breath in. Exhale, back knee down. Feel the hips come forward here. And then pull the front heel towards the back knee towards front heel. And then lift the arms. Kick into the front heel and flex your toes back towards your face. Exhale, half split. Maybe you've got some blocks there to support yourself. You're welcome to use those underneath your hands, for example. As you look at your toes, can you keep drawing them closer towards the face? And then for some more ankle action, try to move the inner foot away from the face, outer foot towards the face. Inhale, come forward. Tuck the back toes. And really fan them as you tuck them. Lift the back knee. From your right sitting bone, press into your outer right heel to lift the arms all the way to the sky, high percentage. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, lengthen the front leg and rock back onto that heel. And exhale, set it back down again. Twice more. Mind this hip. Press into your big left toe to let this hip turn forward just a little bit. And then take your right hand to your outer right knee. Toes are spread. Maybe three middle toes are lifted. Make pressure between your right hand and your right knee. This hip is turned slightly, like the whole rotation of this side is going that way. When you're ready, take the arms out. Reverse. And cartwheel the arms, vinyasa. It's hand, step back, lower down. Move through your vinyasa. And left leg lifts. Inhalation. Exhale, peel it open. Inhale, find that light. Exhale, step through. Good. Strong lunge, fingertips. Your lunge might start here. And then as from the left sitting bone, you press into your left heel, the hips lift a little bit, the fingers get light, the screw of the back leg is tightened. And then lift all toes of your left foot. This one's a little harder for me. As you put your big toe down, try to then spread the 4 other toes out to the left. Fan them out to the left. Set them back down, and then maybe maybe just a pinky finger on this side, right? Okay, so a little, between the 3rd and 4th toes, a little hard to get in there. That's okay. All right, good. We've done our due diligence there. Deep breath in. Exhale, back knee down. Thumb swipe arm stretch. Try to pull your 2 legs together. Create that container for yourself. So don't just let the hips go forward, come back, and then let the hips go forward. So you create the container that you're stretching inside of. We're not just in a full submission to gravity here. We get to do that in the yin practice. Kick into the front heel. Half split, beautiful. And then look at your toes, try to spread them again and see if you can just start to move your inner foot away from your face. Peel the outer foot back towards your face. Can totally be done with blocks if you want. It might be easier to tap into some of the subtlety of the ankle action that I'm asking you to tap into and articulate. Two more breaths. And when you're ready, come forward. So as best you can, try to set these legs up. Spread those back toes, plant them into the earth, lift the knee from the left sitting bone, press into the outer left heel. So nothing really shifts in the lower body. You have such strong legs that you facilitate the rising up. Nice. Deep breath in. Virabhadrasana 2. Kick into your outer left heel, lengthen that leg, and set it back down. Notice as you set it back down, you kind of want to track the knee out to the left. So when we arrive there fully in a moment, place your left hand outside your left knee and create pressure. Press into your right big toe to spin your right inner thigh back behind you. Excuse me. Open up the arms. 3 more breaths. Flip the front palm and reverse. Deep breath. Exhale, cartwheel the arms. Hand, step back, and lower. Hips up and back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. If this needs to turn into a child's pose, of course it can. Keep pushing the earth away. And the funny thing is, like, you're pushing your hands in one direction and you're allowing your shoulders to slide in that same direction, but then it's causing your hips to go up and back in the opposite direction. You're creating the polarity. As much as you engage on one end of the polarity, the other end expands as well, or at least has the capacity to. And when we don't feel into that other end of the capacity, other end of the polarity, we're off balance. Inhale high into the balls of your feet. Exhale, bend legs, stick butt up, push the backs of your legs apart, and jump forward. Hang heavy, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, it's a half lift. Exhale, fold. This time, keep the upper body low, but bend the legs. Take your hands to your outer knees and press. Create that pressure. Feel the sensation get created at your outer hips. In the immersion that my teacher is doing right now, we're working a lot on hips and hamstrings. And he's talking a lot about how actually the relationship between the hips and the hamstring affects the knees. So things like strengthening the hip flexors, which is an interesting way of coming back to that question you asked, Marianthe, is we actually have a muscle group that's named hip flexors, coming back to that more anatomical way of speaking about it. So when you're ready, keep flaring your sitting bones up and away and start to lift your chest. That'll let you come into this anterior tilt of the pelvis. Lift your belly up towards your ribs. Press the backs of your legs apart. Sit in your chair. Inhale, stand up. Maybe gentle back bend in the upper back. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Let's take a Malasana squat. So heel toe the feet out from one another. Heels in, toes out. Sit it down. About 10 breaths here. So for me, it's like I go here. I got to really remind myself, okay, shoulders up and back, slides of neck back in space. And then we can find that similar action of squeezing the inner thighs in towards the arms. This really mimics what we were doing in child's pose earlier. You can imagine that the shins pressing down to lift the hips up away a little bit, like in child's pose. And then if anybody wants, you simply take your crow from there. The shins press down to lift the hips up. And they really clamp in as well. The inner thighs clamp in. That we pointed out from the class the other day, that that's not that different than this. Inner thigh squeezing in, pressing shins down. So if you're working on your crow, you could just be here in child's pose working on your crow. It's really cool. We'll finish up another breath or two in either Malasana or crow pose, taking a rest if you need to. And then coming down. Let's all meet back in the dog pose when you're ready. One more time through this. Go ahead and inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, open it up. Inhale, length. Let's add some core this time. Shift forward, knee to nose. Inhale, length. Shift forward, right to right. Metacarpals, fingertips. Inhale, lift. Exhale, right to left. Grip the earth with your fingers. Inhale, lift. Exhale, step through. Strong legs from the right sitting bone pressed into your right outer heel and spin your inner thigh of the back leg up to the sky. That facilitates a lifting of the back of the leg. Inhale, lift. Good, just spin your back heel down slightly so your hips are only open like 5%. Lengthen the front leg, rock back onto the heel. Spread the toes and come forward into pyramid pose. If you want any additional strengthening opportunity in your right hamstring, which is the part of the body that you're stretching and lengthening, we're creating that facilitated stretch by pressing down to the right foot and pulling back slightly. And then you'll contract the same muscle that's lengthening, creating the facilitated stretch, sending the muscle to the Golgi tendon organ that basically says, oh, there's tightness here. Let's create a little more flexibility because we're sensing tightness. So you trigger like where you want the flexibility to show up for yourself. Walk the hands to the left and take wide legs for Sarvastivadana. If there's any sort of variation that you want here in terms of handstand or maybe even interlacing hands back behind the body, stretching the shoulders, you're welcome to take some. Speaking of, ankle strength and focus on ankles, and feet, and toes, this posture actually really can help to strengthen the muscle that runs up along the outer lower leg. You might start to feel those muscles burning a little bit. Inhale, take a half lift when you're ready. Take your time. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, lift the heart. Sweep the arms high, rock back onto that heel, and then take a Virabhadrasana 2 when you're ready. Reverse. Lengthen the front leg. Utthita Trikonasana, triangle pose. So similar idea. Remember the high five idea I talked to you about before at the top hand? Imagine that someone else's palm is pressing into your palm and it's helping you to turn the right ribs more under. So you don't release the top arm too far back. I didn't say it yet, but you could turn that back heel slightly back to feel the downward turn of the left hip against the upward turn of the chest and the heart. Throw back to May. Deep breath in. Exhale, vinyasa. Nicely done. When you're ready, left leg high. Open it up. Inhale, length. Hang out in down dog or take this series here. Come forward, knee to nose. Inhale, lift. Exhale, left to left. Inhale, lift. Exhale, left to right. Inhale, lift. And exhale, step through between your hands. Set these legs up. When you're ready, lengthen up. So the version we're going to find on this side, if you want, like I just hooked my thumbs to get a little more length, stability. Spin the back heel just slightly down. Lengthen the front leg, rock back onto the foot, the heel rather. And then as you reach the chest forward towards those toes, you could lengthen out into your Parsvottanasana pyramid pose. If there's any strength opportunity for you, it might be pressing down to the sole of the left foot and pulling back. You feel how that helps you to engage the hamstring while it's in a lengthened position. There's your facilitated stretch. Two more breaths. And then walking the hands to the right Prasarita Padottanasana. Any variations that you're feeling here? Headstanders could walk the fingers back in line with the toes. The two hands make the base of your equilateral triangle. The crown of your head makes the point. Strength of the outer hips. You rock onto the toes, maybe just first, and outer hips help to lift. Headstand is a great place to practice that floint, pointing through the feet, but pulling the toes back. Lowering down when you're ready. And coming to your half lift. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, stand all the way. Rock back under the left heel, turn your leg out. And stay on my mat here. 0, 2. Reverse. Lengthen the front leg. Uttita Trikonasana triangle pose. Left hand comes to her ankle, block. Right hand high fives, a space inside the palm to turn the left ribs under. And then from there, maybe you lay the head slightly back. Right hip turns down, maybe right heel turns back. Left thigh spins upward. Deep breath in. Exhale, hands come down. Step back and lower all the way to the earth. Nicely done. Roll onto your back when you're ready. You can soften your legs, bend your legs, bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Cactus your arms here, and let's start to take some windshield wipers in the knees, dropping them off to one side, and then the next. Feet are about hip width distance apart. And as I recover the knees to the sky, I try to bring that sitting bone that's opposite the direction the knees are pointing. So if knees are to the left, draw your right sitting bone towards your right heel. And then drop them to the other side. If the knees are to the right, draw your left sitting bone towards your left heel. And let's say next time they're off to the left, keep them there. You might extend your right arm up in the opposite diagonal. I guess it's actually the same diagonal, but the opposite end of the diagonal, I should say. But the knees are pointing. An invitation here to start to actively shape your breath. Take your left hands or fingers onto your right ribs, especially the inner right ribs. And with the shaping of the breath, invite a softening into those ribs on every exhale. Maybe the gaze even turns to look out in that direction of the right fingers. To recover the knees, you draw the right right sitting bone towards the right heel on an exhale. Knees up. Off to the second side. Knees fall right. And you might look like, what's the direction? Especially, try to split the difference between both knees maybe. And then let the left arm be the opposite end of that same diagonal. Really gentle twist of the spine. There's also an external rotation of one leg, but internal rotation of the other leg. So you may feel the muscles of your outer left hip, TFL, glute medius, glute minimus, stretching a little bit as the weight of gravity really drops that left knee down towards the right leg. As the gaze falls off to the left and right fingers come to left ribs. And I just like to explore that kind of inner crest of the ribs. And with every exhale, I invite a softening in the ribs. It's an interesting thing when we can explore the idea of a bone density softening. Just do that 2 more breaths here. You're shaping your breath. There's such a magnitude to that. Your capacity to shape your breath, where you want to send it, how you want to take it in, and expel it out. On your next exhale, left sitting bone towards left heel, knees, recover. Just knock your 2 knees together now and let your feet walk to either end of the mat. You might take your Shavasana right here, or you may lengthen out your legs. Let the feet flop open. Inner knees, inner thighs present towards the sky. Sometimes it feels really nice to keep arms in a T or even up overhead for Shavasana. No need to shape the breath here. Hand it over to the autonomic nervous system to handle the breath. Soften the tongue. Soften the muscles of your face. You're welcome to stay resting right where you are. However, if you'd like to finish the practice in a seated meditation, please do bring some movement back into your body here. Some awareness again to the breath. Taking your time as in your own way you transition from your back to your side and then to an upright position once again. And as you arrive back in that place, that seat, start to bring some integrity into your posture. Everything we looked at in the beginning of the class, sitting bones down, crown of head up, sides of neck back, an invitation to have your eyes closed here so that you can repose in your own awareness. What exists in your field of awareness now, in this moment? And if at any point in time you notice your attention has shifted from the present moment, it's a gentle bringing back of the attention to the present. You may employ the use of an anchor, such as your breath, the exhalation, to bring you back when you notice that you've strayed. But that anchor can really be one that is of your own choosing. It might be sensations of your body that you're experiencing in this moment. It may be a specific mantra or phrase that you drop into your awareness when you realize that you've strayed. And we don't look at the straying as a bad thing. In fact, we welcome it in as an acknowledgement of something that feels present for us. That thing that your awareness wanders off to attend to, it arguably needs attending to. That's why it's coming up. It desires attention. And in our meditation practice, we say, well, yes, okay, but right now, I'm going to practice being as present as possible. So you may even create a little dialogue between yourself and your attention. Say thank you. Thank you for trying to point me to this, but right now, I'm practicing being here. I'm practicing being right here right now. You may have to call the attention back once every 10 seconds. You may find that you have to call the attention back once a minute. It's non-discriminatory. It just is what it is. But when you find yourself reposed in the now, you might be curious about what is here now. What is there to witness? The rhythm of your breath, the sounds in your environment. And you might also be curious about who is doing the witnessing. And if you had to identify a locale or a location of where the witness is in an instant, look for it. Where is the witness within you? Don't search long. Where is the first place that your attention goes when you search for that witness? The witness witnesses experience, sensation, and at the same time, the witness itself is an experience. It is a sensation. Just one more minute here. Okay. The more challenging it is to sit, arguably the more valuable this time is to sit. The more necessary, the better it is. So as you pull the prayer to your heart center, honor yourself for all your effort, all your dedication to the practice. Namaste. So thank you so much. Really been enjoying the meditation aspect at the end of this. How was that meditation at the end for either of you? Good. Glad to hear it. All right.
This was great, Patrick. Thank you.
Yeah. Take care of yourselves. See you all
Thank
soon.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
How is your brother? Is there your brother who is having?
He's still in the hospital.
Yeah.
It's hard because he's more or less okay. He feels okay,
Oh, that
but
then
they're monitoring. You know, they're waiting to see if this bleb, they call it a bleb, the perforation in the lung, they're waiting for it to heal on its own because it's not big enough for surgery.
so
So
he has some punctuation on his,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know some people, but I know some people, but like they had like when they were in their teens, and I heard that it happens like, really skinny boys.
yes, and that's Michael. He's definitely he's skinnier than I am. And he's about 1 year younger than me.
I see.
So I think at this point he's just feeling a little emotionally tired. I can tell he's grumpy, and I would be too. The hospital environment is terrible, Haesung. I mean,
Oh.
they're bringing in, like, for his lunch, it was like a piece of mystery meat, a can of Sierra Mist. I'm like, how is anybody supposed to heal in this environment? It's just crazy. So it is what
sounds
it
like
is.
almost toxic.
No, it's crazy. So thank you for asking. I'll keep everyone posted.
Yeah, but I hope he gets well. But at least if he feels fine, that I think it's just the time heals
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Yeah.
Time
so
heal. Exactly. Yeah. Thanks for asking. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay.
All right. Well, have a good rest of your night. Bye,
Bye.
Haesung.